Hello and welcome to another edition of Chill with Kaiju Kim. I'm Kaiju Kim. Hope you're all doing well on this lovely afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see by the title, we are once again talking about our boy Godzilla here on this stream tonight. And this week, I am joined by a lovely and talented artist who you may have heard of. She is the one, the only Kaiju-hime. Hello.
What a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. How are you?
Thanks. I'm doing good. Just life.
Life. Yes, we'll get into that life stuff a little bit later. All right, let's see who we have in the chat. We have Ultra Zero Second. Welcome. And Bitorian Goji, what's going on? And
Hello.
Kasaibo F29, how art thou? Wonderful, wonderful.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Thank you all for joining us this evening, afternoon, fun, yada, yada. All right, so let's get right into it, my good friend. So I like to ask my guests 3 questions, and this time it actually has to do with what we're talking about tonight, which is Godzilla, of course. So 3 questions I have for you.
Okay. Shoot.
What got you into Godzilla? What's your favorite Godzilla movie? And what's your favorite non-Godzilla kaiju movie?
Oh, man. Oh, okay. So what got me into Godzilla? When I was a kid, I was obsessed with dinosaurs, you know, as most kids were in the 90s. Like, it was, I was dead set on being a paleontologist until like mid high school. And that's a whole nother story of why I just like, changed professional paths. But I was really, really into dinosaurs. So I was just absorbing any kind of like dinosaur related media that I could get my hands on. And, I had discovered, I forget how, either it was like on TV or just like these old movies. I had discovered Godzilla. And I have some very, very fond memories of watching like these movies as I got a little bit older. So growing up for a period of time, my mother was a single parent with 3 children, and we would go like Friday nights, we would go to like Blockbuster movies, and I would check out all the Godzilla like VHS tapes and just watch them constantly over the course of the weekend.
Giving away your age there, Blockbuster VHS tapes.
Yes. Yes. I'm old.
That's okay.
I'm old and it's late and I'm drinking espresso to try to stay awake. It's only 7 p.m. So yeah, all these like old things. But so, yep, dinosaurs. Godzilla's the biggest dinosaur. It's awesome. My favorite Godzilla movie that I remembered, and I like it stuck with me till I became an adult, was the 90s Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. It had all of the things in it. Like he's an actual dinosaur, and then he turns into a mutant dinosaur, and then there's the cute Dorats, and like King Ghidorah is really cool, and like all this stuff. So that was, and it's probably still like one of my favorite ones. Like, I think my husband got it for me for my birthday or something. Because weirdly enough, even though I was like really, really into these films, I didn't get any of the paraphernalia growing up. Like my parents just like never gave it to me, even though it was like So when I when I like got a big girl job and like got disposable income, the first thing I did was like I went on Amazon and like bought like one of the box sets that have like 12 movies. And then
Nice.
like my dad's like, when did you get so into Godzilla? And I'm like,
Where you been?
I mean, all right, okay. So I think that answers your first two questions, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then my favorite non-Godzilla kaiju movie. So is it just like any kind of monster movie?
Yeah.
Do you have, because like my favorite movie ever has been like Dragonheart, and I'm always like, that's a kaiju movie, right? It's
it's dragon. Dragons are kaiju.
yeah, so that's my answer. I love that movie, and it pulls the heartstrings every time I watch it, even though I know all the words.
You can recite it as you're watching.
Yes.
I love when you can recite the movie as you're watching it. It's great. All right, real quick, just want to say hi to Professor Kaiju. How's it going?
Hey, Professor Kaiju. Thanks for popping in.
Yay! And thank you to Elizabeth W. Christopher and Godzilla Nerds 1954, who will be on my show next week.
Yay. Oh, sweet. Hello. Thank you.
And Choco Flan. And let's see who we got. And Godzilla Train, NB Kaiju, Fruity Charles.
Oh, yes. Hey, there's so many people
there's
here.
So many people. Yay.
Oh my gosh.
They all came to see you. Because you're awesome.
Oh. I was like, oh, maybe like no one will show up. And
like, oh, just, well, maybe like 2 people, maybe 3 people.
And then we'll talk about girly things.
Kasaibo says, gotta catch a ball. Yes, amen. Preach. All right, cool. So let's get rolling with the conversation here. All right, so you are a very, very talented artist. So, yes, it's true. And all the lovely people in the chat can agree. And I was wondering, since we're talking about Godzilla and all that, how has Godzilla influenced your artwork?
That's a really good question. Yeah, how has Godzilla influenced my artwork? I'm trying to think back to. So, okay, so here's like a little anecdote. There was a period of time where I'd say around like 2016, a couple of years before and after, in that time period, I wasn't really doing a lot of artwork as much as I used to. And I think there was just a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I have always been like really hard on myself. I've always had really weird feedback on like stuff that I do, because like some of my favorite things to draw are just like, you know, kind of like supernatural things like giant monsters and pretty boys with wings and like monster girls and things like that. Like, so I think kind of like I would get a lot of feedback that was very discouraging, and I didn't draw for a really long time. And then within the last several years, I think I went through a personal journey, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to draw things that I like. And if other people like the things that I do, that's really an added bonus. So, you know, as a creative person, I always have the urge to create, like, because people will be like, as an artist, like you draw something and people will be like, it's something that they don't particularly like or like to look at or think is art. So it's like, oh, why would you draw that? And it's like, oh, just I put my pencil on the paper and that's what happened. It's like I just put my hand down and I look down and there's a dinosaur thing. I don't know.
It just appeared there. I don't know.
I don't know how it got there. I don't know. I'd be
Okay.
in a meeting at work and someone looks over and they're like, "That's an amazing dinosaur," and I'm like, "Oh, I
Thanks.
question
Mark.
swear I'm taking notes in this very important meeting." But I was like, as a creative person, it makes me feel good to create, to produce things, and my brain is always doing things, always thinking. And I was like, I'm just going to go back to the things that made me happy. When I liked to draw, when I wasn't super critical of my work, when people weren't super critical of me, and just see what happens. And I'd say that Godzilla has influenced me, and that sense of being able to go back to sort of my roots, to things that I enjoy, and has also helped connect me with a lot of amazing people and a lot of really talented people. And it's just like this, I don't know. I think when people started creating this IP, I don't know if they thought about how influential it would be, and not the sense of like, this is a commentary on something that happened historically to people in this one country, but how people over the years have latched onto it. There's a larger community, and how people are able to like connect and reach out and influence each other in that sense.
Awesome. And we got a comment from NB Kaiju. Confirmed. She is an amazing artist. I have several of her pieces on the wall.
Thank you, Kaiju. We're so sweet.
Yes. Great artist. Part of the Kaiju fam, says Elizabeth W. Christopher.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Yay. Everybody loves you, as well they should.
I'm gonna cry.
Not yet. That comes later.
Oh, no.
Save it for the end of the stream.
A lot of people will talk about like every day, like being on social media, you'll see things that are like really frustrating and upsetting. But then like when I have the opportunity to like talk to other people in the fandom, it's always like it's always just like this burst of like positivity, and like afterwards I'm always just like, I'm gonna cry because there are nice people out there. They're so nice.
There are generally nice people out there. They're not all jackasses. Alrighty. Let's see. Another question for you. Do you collect art books from kaiju films, or do you just like do your own work and stuff like that?
I do have some art books. Well, I would say like because my husband and I, we both kind of collect art books. So he has a Pacific Rim art book. I got the Godzilla 2014 art book. I have a Shinji Nishikawa art book that I got when I was in, I think, San Francisco, Kinokuniya there. And I saw it and I freaked out, and I was like, this is awesome. And then I think I freaked out again because like I think I added him on Facebook at one point, and he like friended me back, and I was like, Shinji Nishikawa friended me back on Facebook. Oh my gosh, life is amazing. What else? I know that I have those two because I've looked at them. At least definitely the Shinji Nishikawa one, looked at it a lot. That one had been like really influential to me. Like sometimes if I'm like having a low time and like drawing, because I think there was a period of time like last year or something where I was like, I want to break out of my comfort zone and try to do something. Like I want to draw a monster and I want it to look mean and like really detailed. And so I preferences art book a lot. I also collect art books by artists who are like not well known, like they're just more, I don't know, like just not well known, like artists that I follow online. So I've got some of those art books as well, and I always think that's really cool when like other artists like either kickstart or just like print their own art books.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I need to get a Matt Frank one. I tried to get one at the con one year and they were sold out. as I waited too long.
Yeah. Speaking of art books, that just reminded me of a project that you did recently. I should have grabbed it before the stream started. But, that would have been great because I'm a professional. I am 100% prepared. But I think you know what I'm referring to.
Yes.
Girls Who Love Monsters.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah.
To talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So that was a ride. It was my first time doing something like that. So it was full of firsts. It was like my first time trying to run a Kickstarter campaign, trying to organize people and make an anthology. First time actually designing a book. So when I get all the feedback from people who are like, I have this book and it's beautiful and the stories made me cry and like all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, thank God it turned out well. And like, that was the point. The point was, the project was to kind of like elicit feelings from people. I have read a book years ago. I forget what it's called right now, but I'll tweet about it later if I remember the title. But I love this book, and I felt like I was just telling everyone about it. It was about how stories spread and how people retain stories, and people are less likely to remember like numbers and facts and things like that, but they are more likely to remember how they felt when they were reading something. So this was a cause that was kind of important to me, being a woman and becoming more prolific online in this sort of community, and finding other women and people who identify as women or non-binary individuals within the community, and kind of like realizing that a lot of the feelings that I had it was not an isolated incident, that it was that it was happening to a lot of people. And I was like, I think this is really something that there's something that I want to put out into the world. And that's the origin. That's where that came from. Also, like, just being on forums and like, or like being in public places and people being like, oh, like, did your husband drag you here? And I'm like, oh no, it was actually the other way around. Like, so I wanted to like kind of share that story. And yeah, so that was the origin. I think it turned out really well. I had the response was just like amazing. And it like was a huge confidence boost for me to just be like, wow, people love this. This is great. I want to do something like this again. So I'm organizing like a Gamera zine. So that one's set to pre-orders are set to open in November. So we have like a ton of talented people working on that as well. The crunch won't be as bad for me as it was because like I wasn't no one was expecting the coronavirus pandemic. And then I was out of work for a few months, so then I took on a bunch of extra side work. So then I was working 3 jobs on top of putting a book together. And I was like, never again.
Oh, no.
If someone asked me to do something for them, tell me to say no. So, and then I had done this comic in the book that was like partially based on an actual experience I had growing up, and it's mostly fiction. And I heard from a lot of people that they were like, this story like made me cry, and I was like, yes. That's the point.
I made you cry.
It's not like I was like setting out to be like, I'm going to make people cry and feel
I
terrible.
shall make you shed tears.
It was more like, I want to make people who read this, I want them to feel something, and I want them to remember that feeling and understand that it isn't just a feeling that they share. It's a bunch of people who share this feeling. I actually have a really funny story like about that that comic, because my sister, she bought a copy of the book, and when her book came in, my dad was up visiting her. She's like northern U.S. And I guess he had some free time, so he sat down, he read the book. Kind of sour he didn't buy his own copy, but that's a different thing. And I'm talking to him on the phone after the fact, and he's like, so, or no, I think I'm talking to him in person. He's like, so I read your book. And I was like, okay, what part did you read? Because there's a lot of stuff in there. Like, there's some written pieces, there's a lot of stuff other people did. Very talented people, wonderful. Did you read comics? Did you read any of the stories? Like, what did you read when you say, I read your book? Did you read the whole thing? And he's like, I think I like read your comic. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, it didn't make me feel good. And I was like, okay, that's the point. But why did you not feel good? And he's like, well, like, it made me feel like you were saying that you were all alone when you were a kid. And I'm like, okay, first of all, it's fiction. it's not 100% me. It's a character that's based off of me, based off of kind of an experience I had. But, me hanging out with a giant purple dinosaur monster didn't actually happen.
I mean, I would hope not.
Like, I think he took it very seriously, like very literally. And I was like, no, it's fiction. I did have little boys picking on me when I was little, but
the rest of it was fiction.
The rest of it I made up.
Oh boy. All right. Choco Flan says that comic was so wholesome.
Oh, thank you so much. I like hope that it would resonate with people. I feel like there are probably other young girls out there who might have felt or do feel similarly. Like, if you're out playing with your dinosaur toys and, people are like, that's not for girls. Yeah. Why don't you get a baby doll that pees itself? It's like, why do I want to clean up after a toy?
Why would I do that?
Gross.
Yeah, I don't understand. That's another stream for another day. All right.
I'll be back for that one. I'll bring my feminist soapbox.
All right. I'll set up a feminist stream just for you. All righty. All right. So bringing it back to kaiju stuff. So yeah. What kaiju has your favorite design overall? Like any kaiju, any monster, dragons, Godzilla, kaiju, whatever.
Man.
We got all night.
Oh, there's so many are so good. Gosh, I can't rank. I know people will sometimes ask me to like rank things and be like, this is my favorite one. This is my favorite one. I'm the kind of person where I'm like, this is my favorite thing. And then like over here, this is my favorite thing. And this one's good. And they're all number one. So I really like Otachi from Pacific Rim. And when I first saw the designs for those kaiju, I was like, they all look kind of really similar and they don't really stand out to me. But Otachi always stood out. Sorry. And then I really liked in the art book where they were talking about her origin, where they wanted to design a monster that could like do all the things and it needed to be like surprising. And I remember like seeing the movie for the first time where it's like, oh my gosh, it can fly and it has a baby. Like, and it's just really cool because it's like this like bat lizard thing that can crawl, swim, fly,
etc.
So cool. Such a cool design. Gosh, I'm looking around my room to see like what else. What else do I like? What's on my shelf?
You like all of the things.
I like all of the things. I haven't seen anything like recently. I feel like, well, that's not true. I always talk about the movie The Ritual that was on Netflix, and the monster design in that movie is one that came out recently that just kind of blew me away as being like really cool and like really unique and really creepy. So I like that one a lot. And for like classic monsters, I like, King Ghidorah is really cool because he's a giant gold three-headed dragon and, that sort of thing. So
Fun times.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I like things that fly.
Flying things are fun.
Yeah, I like wings.
Waiting for a toy company crossover where we get a dinosaur toy that wets itself. That's all the demographics on board.
That's perfect.
I would buy that and I would put it on my shelf.
Yes. There were, I think Hasbro did have a line of like girl dolls that were like cave girls and dinosaurs and stuff. And I was like, I need this in my life. So cute. like the doll aesthetic, the doll line finally hit me. Like growing up, I didn't have Barbies. I had a Dr. Ken.
Fair enough.
I know all the little girls in the neighborhood that are like, I have Barbie. And I'm like, I have Dr. Ken. This man influenced me somehow.
The only toy I want that I have to clean up after, it would have to be a Tamagotchi or Digimon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I never kept up with those. It would die immediately. I had like a Neopet. You have Neopets?
Oh, I had Neopets.
Oh. We're 90s babies.
90s babies.
90s babies. All right, let's look at my list of questions here. What else did I want to ask you? Oh, have you seen Godzilla Singular Point?
Yes.
How do you feel about it?
I really liked it. I thought it was really different and really interesting. I am one of those people that whenever they try to do something different and unique and new with an old IP, I'm like, I'm here for it. Let's see what they do. Like, cool. There were a few episodes where I was kind of like zoning out a little bit because it was a lot of like physics talk and her boop 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 boop, and then I'm not confused. I'm just like here for the ride. Like I'm not gonna try to pretend
I don't
know.
I don't know I don't know how to science, so I'm just gonna okay, like smiling on. Oh, okay, that makes perfect sense.
I'm like, okay, look at the little Rodans. They're cute. Okay. They're monsters. Okay.
I want a Rodan plushie. I need that in my life.
Yes, I saw that. I was like, I wonder if they're gonna make one, and they made them, and I was like, so cute.
It's so cute. I really want one.
I want a second. I hope we're gonna get a second season, because it felt like they were like gearing up for that.
I mean, yeah, with that cliffhanger though. No spoilers, but that cliffhanger though. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Kaiju designs?
I like them a lot, and I also like that they threw in a new original kaiju, and like what that was referenced with and everything. Like I like the whole like Indian tie-in that they were doing. So they were doing the song, and then can I say Sarunga? Like, is that a spoiler?
I don't think so.
But I think that kaiju was named after like an Indian deity or something like that. It was interesting. So I also liked how they varied in size. Like they weren't all huge, or like you'd have like tiny Rodans and big ones, and then like Anguirus was there, and like that was like neat. And it gave me some like sort of Pacific Rim vibes in the sense of like their origin. So
Fun times.
I'm always like, I'm the kind of person that loves spoilers, so I'll talk about something and I'll just be like, bah, 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 and then you tell me all about your spoilers. But then like I'm like, I know people don't like spoilers, so I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm assuming everyone's seen it at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I think everyone here has seen it. At least I think so. Hello, Gzilla 100. How's it going? Have you guys
Godzilla!
heard of Kaiju no Kami? It sounds familiar.
I know all those words.
Yeah, I know the words. I don't think I've heard of the thing.
Let me see. I don't. Is it a YouTuber? Because I just looked it up and it looks like there's a YouTube channel called Kaiju no Kami. So no, I haven't heard
I guess
of them.
not. I guess the answer to that question is no.
No. But now I know. Thank you.
All right, good to know. All right. Hello, Migbar. How's it going? Will you both be attending G-Fest next year? If it's happening, yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll be there.
Yes, 100%.
Definitely. I want to see all my friends.
Yeah, I want to see my friends too. Like the first two G-Fests that I went to, I wasn't on YouTube at the time, but now that I have like kind of an internet presence, like it'll be nice to like meet you and all the wonderful friends I've made.
Other friends. Yay.
All my friends. I want to see my friends.
The first year I went, I was like, I want to make Godzilla friends because like I know like 2 people in real life who like Godzilla. It's like my husband and like my friend, like my one friend. So, but now I'm like, oh, we'll go, and it's like, my husband said recently, because like we table together, and he's like, I feel like when we go to cons, everyone's coming to see you, and they don't care about me.
Aww.
I was like, no, but your artwork is super good. Everyone comes and looks at your art.
Aw. All right, we got a question for you from NB Kaiju. How do you feel about Singular Point Jet Jaguar now that you've seen their first appearance in Megalon?
So we watched Megalon yesterday morning. And that was like super fun. It's like really that was just so much fun, you guys. Like I like woke up, had my coffee, and like we're watching Godzilla movies like Saturday morning. I was like,
that's the best way to start the day.
Yeah. But anyway, since I had seen Singular Point, and then this was my first time seeing Godzilla versus Megalon, I was missing Jet Jaguar's little baby voice.
Aww.
I was like, oh, I miss his little voice that he had at Singular Point, where he's like, okay, Jaguar. But Jet Jaguar is a friend.
He is.
Yes. I want to see Jet Jaguar in more stuff now.
Me too.
Like, bring Jet Jaguar into the Monsterverse. # Jet Jaguar Monsterverse.
That would be awesome.
Yep. And get a woman to direct it.
Oh yeah. I'll direct it.
Yeah.
Yay.
Kaiju Kim for Monsterverse.
Yay. Start the hashtag, everybody.
Start it right now. Do it.
All right, so I got a hypothetical question for you.
Uh-oh.
You're hired by Toho to design a brand new kaiju. What does it look like?
I want to see more mammal kaiju. Because one of my favorites is King Shiza. He's up there. But I love him, big fluffy boy. So I really would love to see more of that. And I really want just a straight up cat. I want a cat kaiju so bad. So so I would probably design some kind of cat monster.
Excellent. Ooh, what would the name be?
Well, so I actually have a original kaiju cat monster, and her name is Neko Baba. And her design has changed a lot over the years. Originally, she was like a tall, like a huge, just kind of like naked Sphinx cat with a split tail. And then I was like, I want to make her more fluffy and kind of just lazy. So she's like more Pokemon-ish, I think.
I mean, cats, Pokemon, kaiju, those are all my favorite things.
Yay!
So I'm 100% on board with that.
Whenever I play Pokemon, I have a team that is just solely cats. And I always beef up my Meowth. I take my Meowth to the Elite Four and it just crushes everyone.
Gzilla 100 asks, did you feel like Godzilla was an afterthought in Godzilla Singular Point?
Huh, that is also a good question.
That is a good question.
I didn't feel like he was an afterthought as much as like they were trying to like save him for last, you know, like
he's present throughout the series. Not like you don't see him, but like he's he's like around, kind of. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Definitely.
Like he's like the central. He's the like hence the title Singular Point of the series.
Yeah.
Even though you don't see him, so I don't know if I would consider him an afterthought. Yeah.
Did he need more time? Yeah, I would like to see a little bit more of him.
Yeah, more of him in his Ultima glory. None of this not Brachiosaurus and not Scorosaurus, not Varan.
Yeah, but I think that's why I hope for a second season to see like, you know, more of his Ultima form or where they go from there.
Exactly. All right. What other questions do I have for you, my dear? Who are some of your favorite artists?
Oh man. Oh, you're gonna do that to me right now.
Again, I say we have all night.
Oh my gosh. So like professional artist wise, I grew up really loving James Gurney, who, in addition to being a really talented artist, is just a sweetheart of a person. Like I met him in person, and you know, it was super nice to like see this person who was really influential in my childhood and see that he was just like a really nice person in real life. I had my sketchbook with me and he like signed it. And then he's like, can I look through your sketchbook? And I'm like, sure. And he saw a doodle, like a drawing that I had. And then he goes like, have you ever been to a furry convention? And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm meeting an idol and he's asking me if I'm a furry. Well, then he clarified, like, I've been invited to be a guest there and I've just never been. So I was like, oh,
you should have left with that.
Okay. Another paleo illustrator that I really like is William Stout. And in 2019, I got to meet him in person. So that was also really awesome. Just his technique with ink and watercolor, always really influential to me. So when I'm not working digitally, my traditional mediums tend to be ink and watercolor. I want to do more of it. It's just that it's like time consuming and it takes up space and I have to like pull all my stuff out. And I'm like, or I could just like doodle on a piece of paper.
Yeah, let's do that.
But that was really cool. So paleo illustrator wise, like those guys. And then I had gotten into like following Matt Frank, of course, like years ago. And I remember that the first time I went to G Fest and I was like, I want to go where I see Matt Frank. My husband's like, who's that? And then, gosh, I have a lot of like other artists that I like to follow who I don't know. They're not like huge names. Shout out to Lisa because like I love her stuff and read her comics. They're like really good. If anyone here is not reading Taking Back Tokusatsu, please please read that. And her book Minus is really good.
That's Lisa Nafziger, for those who are not familiar with her for some reason.
Yeah, everyone here knows her. There's also a friend / artist that I have been following for years. If anyone knows Finny, Finni, I have a lot of her stuff. She from the anime style, like I've always been in love with her stuff, and it's just so like our interests also align for the most part. And also like just a bunch of other like artist friends that I've made through like working on Girls Who Love Monsters or going to conventions. There's like a lot of really talented people out there who are professionals who are doing a lot of artwork. They're just like not in the limelight. So I think that, well, it's a topic for another time. Going on about like artists and how artists are seen and treated in like the public eye and everything.
Indeed. All right, we have a question from Fruity Giles. Favorite Godzilla or Gamera movie? You already answered your favorite Godzilla movie. What's your favorite Gamera movie?
So I feel really bad admitting this, but I recently like saw like a lot of the newer Gamera movies. So like the Gamera trilogy and Gamera the Brave. And out of all of those, I think my favorite was Gamera versus Iris. There was a lot to love in that movie. I loved the designs. I loved how they handled the characters. I really could like the kids that they focused on were like so good. Like,
were they?
And the dynamic. I was just like, I really love this. And there's a main character, this girl. I love her. This is great. And then like when we did the watch party for my VTuber debut, we watched Gamera the Brave. I also really liked that because it was just like it gave me like 80s aesthetic vibes, like E.T., like kid finds creature, it turns into bigger creature, and then gosh, I'm so sorry. I forgot the name of the monster Gamera fights in that movie.
It starts with a Z, I think. Help me out, chat. What's the name of that guy?
Zegra? Is it Zegra?
What? No. It wasn't Zegra. I feel like it started with a Z. It's gonna bother me. I need to look it up.
Google,
maybe not to destroy your things in the process.
I can't remember.
Zetus. Yeah, yes, Zetus. Yes.
Zetus. Thank you, chat. Yes,
Thank you.
I thought Zetus was very cool. It was very cool monster design. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, that was a cool design. And poor Toto / Gamera got like a beating in that one. I know. The Gameras are good for getting beatings. I mean, they're good at taking a beating. That's what I meant. Yeah. Brutal fights, especially in the trilogy, which is my favorite. I like Guardian of the Universe. I think would be my favorite if I had to pick one, or Iris. I like Revenge of Iris. I like the story behind that one.
That was such a good movie. And then speaking of G-Fest, like last time we were there was a kid at our table and he had the Gamera figure that was like had the fire hand from that movie, and like we hadn't seen it yet, and the kid was like, we're just like, oh, cool Gamera. And he's like, this is from this movie where he fights this monster and then his hand falls up and then he does it. Then he's like, so he's like talking about he gives us an entire movie synopsis and tells us in great detail all about this fight. And I'm just like, oh, that's really cool. Oh, that's great. Yeah. And then I completely forgot about it. And then we watched this movie and we were like, oh, that kid was explaining this to us.
Oh. It all makes sense now.
It's all coming together. That's where the crazy fire hand came from. I see now.
Ah, gotcha. Alrighty, let's see. What else? What else did I have for you? I'm just looking at my list of questions here. All right, I think we can move on to the next thing.
I keep looking at my cat. He's back here.
Oh, what kind of kitty?
He's black and white. His name is Theodore, and I'm surprised that he's not talking to me because when I'm on the computer talking to people, he thinks I'm talking to him. So he'll like, but he's fine.
Oh, fun times. All right, so going back to our boy Godzilla.
Godzilla, my boy.
He's my boy. All right. So he's been obviously a part of both of our lives for decades. So I believe you and I were on an episode of the Kaiju Weekly podcast together a few months back.
Mm-hmm.
And you shared a story of how Godzilla helped you cope with your struggles. And I was wondering, only if you're comfortable, feel free to say no. I was wondering if you would like to share that story here.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm an open book.
Okay, cool.
So I mean, as long as people like want to hear it, I don't mind sharing. So, and it also ties into like kind of where my persona came from. So back in 2016, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it runs in my family. My mom was diagnosed in late stage breast cancer when I was young, in 2012. I think she had passed away, but she had, after her diagnosis, lived like far exceeded the doctor's expectations in the 90s. So that was a lot in my head when I was first diagnosed, because I was like, oh my gosh, like seeing like a lot of stuff that she went through. Very fortunate that it was caught very early. So that's a plus. So I went through everything. I had surgery, got everything removed. All of my lymph nodes and everything were clear. The doctors came back and they were like, nowadays what they can do is, like, when they do surgery to remove the tumor, they can do a biopsy on the tumor. And I'm going to try not to get into really like technical stuff, but they run some tests, and based on the structure and everything of the tumor, they can determine what kind of treatment to give you. So even though it was still very early, they were like, you need to do chemo. And I was like, I'm angry because, like, the doctors at first were like, it's so early, you probably won't need to do all this stuff. And then it comes back where they're like, the doctor was visibly upset because he like did not want to give me this news because it sucks. No one wants to go through this. So while I was going through treatment, one of the things that like helped me get through it in a sense was, of course, I have my family and my friends, everyone's there. Everyone's really super supportive, and I like appreciate that. And I had this image after, like, I think I'd rewatched Godzilla versus Destroya, and that spoke to me on a very like personal level. Like, specifically, there's this like the image of Godzilla's kind of like, his body he's slowly dying, right? His body's like killing him from the inside out. He's like all of that radioactivity, and his like breast is like on fire, and he's like smoking and like, still fighting. And Destroy itself is, it's kind of based off of the Xenomorphs and Aliens. I think there's some bits in that movie where I'm like, that is straight from Aliens. That's hilarious. Which could also be seen as like a metaphor for cancer, because they multiply and spread and they're everywhere. So that image of Godzilla and like him continuing to fight this, adversary in this film, like that really spoke to me. And I was like, this is me. This is what I'm going through right now. And also like I had family members who were like, who they had their own kind of like pop culture interpretations, I guess, like imagery. Like my mother-in-law gave me like a something. I think she went to the Red Fair and got like a chalice or something that had like a dragon like carved in it. Because we had this like, we all sort of like latched onto this imagery of like this big powerful monster that's just crushing it. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm crushing it, I'm getting through this. So that image like kind of stuck with me. And in conjunction with that, my husband like had helped me pick out some like fun colored wigs, because I had lost all my hair. And I had this like blue and pink one, and I was wearing it, and that sort of is where Kaiju-hime came from, because I was really relating to Godzilla. I was really relating to that image of that giant monster, and then I was like, I just want to sort of create this own like persona and like use that. So, and then I got my burning Godzilla tattoo. Like most people will be like, I wouldn't say most people, but it's very common to see like breast cancer patients, or like my dad also wanted to get a tattoo that was just like a pink ribbon, and my sister and I both like yelled at him, and we're like, no. I don't want to be associated with that. Like I don't want to be associated with the disease. That's why I latched on to Godzilla, because I would rather be associated with this concept of this like godlike being that is overcoming all obstacles.
Beautiful. That is amazing. That's a freaking amazing story.
Oh, thanks. I'm still kind of going through it. So I'm like, after, it's hard, right? Like it's easy for people to see someone like you're going through chemo, you don't have any hair, you look really sick. Even if you feel energetic, you don't look like it. And it's really easy for, people to think like, oh, you have all your hair back and you're fine and everything's fine and it's over. And I'm like, well, no, I'm still getting treatments every month. Like, I have less than a year left of like injections, and then I'm on medications for like another year, all this stuff that's preventative just to make sure that it doesn't resurface and come back. And so I'm a huge advocate for being vocal about like, it's something that, you don't just wake up one day and like you're done chemo and then you're fine. It's like, it's something that follows you around.
Yeah. And look at all the people showing you love in the chat. Yay. Monsters as a metaphor for personal struggle is a real mood.
Thank you, sweeties.
You go, girl.
Oh, you're all sweeties. Oh, sweeties.
I've been on chemo as well. It sucks. I truly hope you're doing better now.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you so much. It's a bummer, and it makes me really sad when anybody has to go through it, because it's scary. I still have nerve damage in my extremities, my fingertips. Mm-hmm. That's a risk you take, but it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, thank you. I see all the kind words popping up.
Oh, see.
You stay healthy and take care of yourselves.
Aw, that's awesome. People are so awesome.
Bunch of sweeties.
I know, everyone's so sweet. So if you guys don't mind, I kind of want to share how Godzilla helped me through my struggles.
Do it. Yes.
Yes. I mean, my story kind of pales in comparison to yours, but
No.
that's okay.
Everybody is always on their own personal journey, and everyone is like, it doesn't. I always tell people like it doesn't matter, because I'll talk to some people and be like, oh well, you know, that's a lot compared to what I've been through, and I'm like, yeah, but everyone goes through stuff.
Yeah, everyone goes through stuff. Yeah, so
Go girl.
All right, cool. So May of last year, I sadly lost my mom to colon cancer, and it was absolutely devastating.
I'm so sorry.
I basically lost my ability to function and got a little easier to deal with, as time went on, but still struggling with it quite a bit. But I found a wonderful distraction in the form of reviving this YouTube channel. And for those of you who don't know, this channel is actually 11 years old, but it was under a different name when it first started, and I never really paid attention to it until July of last year. So it started with the Godzilla Jenga video, and then I put up a review of Gojira 1954, then the Zilla 98 video, so on and so forth. And I gained a little bit of a following, and I was like, hey, people actually enjoy my work. Maybe I should keep doing this. And I ended up interacting with the Godzilla community more, and I actually made friends, which I really wasn't expecting. And I met people who have also lost a parent or lost both parents, and I felt less alone. Like, talking about what I was going through and having people actually listen and genuinely care definitely made it easier to cope and grieve. And everyone I interacted with was so welcoming and kind, and showed me how awesome this community could be. Like, if everyone would just stop being angry about everything and just chill, like, it would be a good time for everybody.
Yeah. It's when you've been through something that really makes you think about your life, everything else is sort of like a non-issue. Like, I don't know if you've experienced this, but like when the certain like fandom nonsense pops up and people get like really angry about like, oh, someone said X, Y, and Z about a thing that I like, and I'm really angry, and I'm just sort of like, it's a non-issue. Like, just chill.
Just relax. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's fine. Someone said they didn't like things. You can just be like, okay, there's an informed opinion. Moving on.
You don't like a thing? All right, good for you. More power to you. Let's move on.
Right.
People lost the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear about your mom.
Thank you. From Choco Flathon, you two are queens. You deserve the best. Aw, thank you.
No, you are.
You.
You
deserve the best.
Look at you, your cute little fraud face. You deserve it all.
You all deserve it.
You deserve it all.
Okay. Losing a parent like that is rough. I lost my mom to brain cancer. Oh no.
Sorry, Kaiju.
Oh, I know the pain. I'm glad you folks had folks there for you when you needed it. Yeah. It was good. It really helped. It really helps a lot. And I hope you also have people supporting you in this community as well.
Yeah. Cancer sucks.
Cancer sucks. It truly is cool to be able to see more women being into Godzilla and Kaiju, so thanks for doing this stuff. You're welcome.
You're welcome. I just want to say that we've always been here.
We have been here for our entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a fan of Godzilla since I was a fetus.
I was bored and my first breath was Godzilla. It's like, did she say mom?
Godzilla.
But that was the fun thing about doing Girls Who Love Monsters, because to just see like all of these people who identify as women come forth and just be like, I've always liked giant monsters. Super cool. So, but thank you. We'll try to rope more women in.
Yeah. All right, cool. All righty. On a much lighter note, I do believe it is giveaway time. Ooh.
Give away a round of applause.
All right. Yay. All right, Kaiju-hime, what will the lovely people be entering to win tonight?
Drum roll, please. All right, so I'm giving away a bunch of goodies. So I've got some stickies, some sticky babies.
It's so cute.
And then some mini prints. I've got a Gojirin and a Godzuki because, yeah. And then a selection of posters.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got my little chibi Kaijus match the stickies. And then a selection of original Kaiju-hime posters. So here she is eating a train or saving people, whatever you
However you want to interpret it.
Yes, it's art. It's up for interpretation. This one, and finally this one, a serene resting by some cherry blossoms. Mm-hmm. So all of these goodies, I will ship them to you. I will sign them all.
All right. If you want to get your hands on all of that wonderful, wonderful artwork, you have to be the first to answer this week's trivia question. And this week's trivia question is kind of an easy one. We kind of gave away the answer a little bit earlier, but if you're a Godzilla fan, you should be able to get this one. What was Megumi Odaka's last Godzilla film? What was Megumi Odaka's
On that note, kind of bummed LeVar Burton isn't doing Jeopardy.
I know. That's rude.
Just give it to him.
Why? Why don't they do it? He's perfect.
He is perfect.
While we're waiting for the lovely people to answer the question, we have another question. We have, how do you both feel about creating safe spaces for kaiju fans outside of the mainstream fandom as a way to encourage more folks to be proud of who they are? I feel pretty good about that.
I want to see more. I want to do more. I wanted to get, I know that there was some discussion, especially at like G-Fest, of like some, like more LGBTQ plus panels. And I'm like, I just think it would be great to have, there's a lot of virtual spaces out there that are really awesome. I would love to see like more like in person. I mean, whenever that's possible again. But yeah, I think it's really important to encourage people to be who they are and to educate other people about like just how to be more empathetic. Because I always talk to so many people and I have to remind people that empathy is actually such a rare trait in our society. And it can be learned. A lot of people can be born with it, but it's something that a lot of people just don't know how to think outside their bubble, and creating spaces to educate people. And I think, that's something I'm rather passionate about.
Awesome. Yay. All right. We have an answer to the trivia question. What was Megumi Odaka's last Godzilla film? And the first person to get the correct answer is Blawbox. He made a little typo, but we'll accept it anyway.
Hi, Blawbox. Thank you for coming in.
All right, Blawbox. Miss Kaiju-hime will be in contact with you on either Twitter or Instagram, I'm sure.
I know your Twitter. I know you.
Okay, great. All right. So, yeah. Congratulations. Thank you for playing. And I'm sure you give some lovely parting gifts to Gzilla 100, who also got the correct answer.
Gzilla get some stuff too?
Yeah. Sure. And hey, Godzilla, it's about time you showed up, but we are at the tail end of the stream now. So, but thanks
Aw,
for stopping by.
thanks.
Yay! All right, we can get rid of the banner now. Okay, goodbye.
Bye, Banner.
Bye, banner. All right, Miss Kaiju-hime, where can people find your awesome work?
Oh, I'm sad this is over already. I was
I
having so much
know. Me
fun.
too.
We'll have to have a second one.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can find me. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, uh, same handle, Kaijuhime. And then I am one half of Rainleaf Studio with my husband. So you can go to our website at rainleaf.studio. We have a shop at rainleafstudio.storenvy.com. And to plug a little bit of stuff that I have coming out. I've been really busy with the Gamera zine, and that's going to come out later in the fall. I'm hoping to have pre-orders open by Gamera's birthday.
Mhm.
So that'll be fun. And I know a lot of people have been asking me about the Dakimakura, and that is coming. I just need to have some time to do it. And then for some Rainleaf Studio stuff, my husband right now is he creates card games. So I'm going to be working with him to getting a Kickstarter live for a Kickstarter version of one of his card games.
Awesome. All right.
Busy.
Well, thank you again for joining us. And I just saw my boy Matt from Monstrosity.
Matt! Yay!
Yay!
Look at all these people.
All
There's
these people
so
that are
many
coming.
people.
There's so many people here, and they all showed up at the last minute.
No.
Oh no!
This means we still have to keep talking.
Oh, okay. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Godzilla. Anyone have any last minute questions?
Yes. More questions for this lady Kaiju-hime. We have time for questions.
Yeah. Or I'll just like it's like when you're doing a panel or something, and at the end you're like, any questions?
Any questions?
Good.
Anybody?
I'll just share anecdotes if no one has any questions.
Sounds good.
One of my favorites is like the one time I'm at G Fest, I think the last time, and I'll just wander around. Sometimes I'll be like, I need a break from the table. I'm gonna go make some laps. This is like any comrade. We like take turns. It's like I need to get up and walk around. And I think I went up into the dealer's room, and it's like the one dealer. I think it's a husband and wife, and they do all the T-shirts, all the Monster and Cinema T-shirts. It's just like huge tables of T-shirts, and I'm just like me being myself, like chatting with people, like, "Hi, who are you? How are you? How's life? How's everything going?" And like we just started just like chit chatting, and she's just like, it's like, "Oh, I'm good," and like, did your husband drag you here? And I'm like, no. We're artists. Like it's like, because her experience was like, I guess her husband was really into it, and so she was into it by proxy. And I think that's the same with a lot of people, where they'll be like, this is my experience, so this is like all I like. So everyone's experience must be like this because this is what I know. And that's not a bad thing. It's just like people. It's just like how people are. And I'll try not to get on the subjects of like psychology, because that's sort of my day job. I'm a user experience engineer, so I dabble a lot in psychology and like neuroscience and design and stuff like that. Anyway, so I'm talking to this lady, and I'm like, no, she's like, oh, did he get into it first? That all those questions of like, did he get you into it? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, like I grew up with this stuff. I really like it. And we just happen that like our interests align in like most things. And I know that's like it's kind of uncommon. I don't know, but like, you know, like we just kind of we like a lot of the same stuff. There are things that he likes that I don't like, and vice versa. But so it's like, oh, okay, talking, and then like at the end, I was like, oh, you know what? I talked your ear off, left my husband at the table, like I should go. And then she's like, oh, well, thank you so much for talking. It's so nice to talk to like a normal person. And I was like, oh.
Normal? No, not quite.
And I can't remember if I was there in like all like my like ear like wig and horns and everything, but I was just like, oh, okay. I'll take the compliment. Thank you.
I mean, it's good to appear normal for like your day job, but like when you're in, a convention or anything, your true self comes out.
Yes. True self is, I'm like, be contained. Don't actually anyone when they come by your table. Like, I think I was at another convention and I had it was like a girl and like her friend, and they're like looking at her stickers, and she picks up a Mothra sticker and she's like, oh, look at the moth with the egg. This is so cute. I love moths. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And her friend is just like, that's Mothra. And I'm like, it could just be a cute moth. It's fine.
That's Mothra. Excuse you. I will not tolerate this disrespect. Respect the queen.
Yeah. Respect the queen. Please.
Hashtag respect the queen.
Respect the queen. Respect the queen.
The queen. I just got black for a second. All right, let's take a couple more questions.
Bring it. Bring it.
From Godzilla Nerds 1954. If you can direct one kaiju movie without using Godzilla, who would it be?
Oh.
Ooh. I kind of want to do, I know remakes are kind of done, but like overdone remakes, but like I would like to do a remake of War of the Gargantuas, kind of want to take a crack at it.
That would be really cool. Does it have to be like an existing kaiju if you can direct one kaiju movie without using Godzilla? I'm guessing it's an existing one.
I mean, it can be whatever you want.
Whatever I want.
Whatever you want.
Oh, man. How about a King Caesar solo flick? I want more love for King Caesar.
Yeah.
Also, and I would call him King Shisa because that's his actual name, and it bothers me. The dub.
Respect the king.
Respect the king.
Respect the king.
My fluffy boy.
All right. Let's see. We'll take one more question.
Sounds good to me.
Will you design a character for my next kaiju game?
Yes.
Good answer.
Hire me.
Yay. And if you want video promotion for your game, hi, you can hire me. Just my links in the description below. Thanks. Bye.
Yes. Do it. More collabs. I love collabs.
Yes. All right. So this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. This is my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Definitely want to have you on again. This has been a blast. Yay. All right. And to you watching at home, thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to hang out with me and my lovely guest. All right. So subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you had a good time with us here today. And be sure to go down into the description box below to get all the links to all of our socials and stores and what have you. All right, guys. Thank you all for coming. I will see you next time. Bye.